crop that from the side. Awesome in terms of her underlying balance. I love that one's neck attachment. I wish when we got her in here, she'd just get out and go a little bit faster, but I still read her ankles to be correct. I certainly think with our hands on her, she's the most impressive there as well. The front line, I think, starts for me again in motion. We started the ground and just how stout and rugged that sheep is in terms of his feet and his feature. He's really opened up through his chest, big in his hip and wide and square as he goes away from you. He's by some margin the most comfortable in his front end assembly and in his top line, and the way he uses his hip and his rear leg. She's still really bold in his center body. He's still got some width and dimension of muscle, but he's certainly not quite as shapely as some that we've seen today. I'd like to give that guy a little more crease, a little more aggression to his handle, but I think that sheep's just too good in terms of his spine and in terms of his quality and emotion to get beat in this particular group. Sheep in second, I really like this guy's speed and still awesome in terms of his rack shape. Love that sheep's center body. His flank is still really good. That helps him balance, I think, with a really nice, attractive kind of look. He's not as good in the front third of his body. He gets a little bit more peaked at the edges of his loin and in motion. We just got to make that guy move a little bit better for me personally. The one that wins our second class, I can watch this guy move all day. I really like this one's just build. His functionality to his skeleton is awesome. I love how he holds his head and still carries his top line correctly. He gets a little wide from behind from time to time, but that's being pretty critical on a sheep that's that good built, I think, from the profile. And he still does have a lot of ESTs in terms of chest width, body shape, and just dimension. We talked about in class, and I still think it's true. He's not the shapeliest one that we've seen all day. I wish we could make that guy just a little more honest and true in his shape right in behind his shoulder and over his loin edge, just freshen him up a little bit there. And I think relative to the sheep on either side of him, yes, he's good balance, yes, he's got a big sappy flank in him, but to me, he's just a bit deeper through the lower third of his body than what might be ideal. I wish we could tuck him up in his chest and make him just a little more athletic in his midsection. Now, ladies, you win in two. When we get her put together, love her top line and how she blends together. I still think that she's really good and tall at the top of her shoulder. She's extended and her neck attachment's good. I just want to change that one off either end from a movement perspective. She just gets a little too tight round, a little too straight for me. We put our hands on her, and I think she's got the advantage maybe in just rack shape and expression up high relative to the one right in front of her. I just didn't know if we were actually a structural improvement. Those two both have a few issues that we'd like to change. I like this feather standing still. She gets him propped up, and you can get in on that one's top line and attractiveness. He's really neat in terms of how he connects his neck onto the top side of his blade. He too, for me, gets a little too straight fronted. Just doesn't want to get out and go and use his hip and hop very well. We put our hands